what has been Xbox's biggest problem? Why has it failed to kind of sell or catch on? I mean, obviously, there's probably many reasons, to be honest with you, but at the same point in time, I think the major reason was the lack of quality games. While it is true that, back in the day on the 360, when Halo was being made by Bungie and Gears of War was being made by, Epic Games, I think that, there was a quality there that we just really haven't seen much of from Microsoft's own studios since. Even the stuff that we've seen for Halo since hasn't been that quality that we're used to from Halo. Same thing with Gears of War. Obviously, Gears of War 4 and 5 weren't massive, clearly, because otherwise we probably would have got another Gears of War sooner, right? Like, we're most definitely not getting a Gears of War this year. The last Gears of War came out in 2019, so, they're waiting 6 years between, assuming it comes out next year, 6 years or more between releases. You don't do that to games that are like a hit. Gears of War used to be a certifiable hit, so we'll see how that kind of works out. But, like from my kind of standpoint, with this, I think it's been their exclusives have just failed to have that it factor. And, the perception was no better. So, I want to get into this though because I feel like it's a very interesting topic and something came up that kind of showcases exactly what I'm talking about. What's up? I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crappy Reviews. Back with another video. Like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate it. It certainly helps out the channel. It means a lot to me. I do daily gaming content, so if you're looking for someone that does fun yet informative content on video games, you have found him. Now, let's go ahead and get into this. So, again, recently a fan shared aggregate review scores for first-party releases. Super fan Clobril shared one of the Xbox Game Studios roadmaps, giving us a glimpse of the team's upcoming pipeline of first-party games. It's always fun to look at these graphics, and he's always putting them out and things like that. It's also worth looking back every now and then after you kind of a busy period, I guess, and that's what he did. In the influencer's latest post, a more simplistic graphic, they gathered up the Open Critic average review scores for some of Xbox's biggest releases over the last year or so. Early access titles like Towerborn aren't there, and Activision's Black Ops 6 is currently absent as well, but much of the last year or so has been gathered and compared for easy browsing. So, real quick, you have Hellblade 2 clocking in at an 81, Indiana Jones at an 87, Avowed sitting at an 80, South of Midnight at a 77, Oblivion Remaster 82, and Doom The Dark Ages at an 86. Now, these are quality scores, to be honest with you, especially like when you look back to the more suffering days, and as an Xbox fan, there were a lot of suffering days, right? I can talk about Recore, I can talk about, State of Decay 2, these games, Rise, Son of Rome. I like Rise, Son of Rome, but again, games that are rated in the 50s and 60s. For a long time, a lot of games were rated in the 60s. It was like 67, 68. You look at stuff like Crackdown 3. Well, I think that's a super low rated game as well. It's like, that's all we were getting were these super low rated games. So I think Microsoft had to go out there and change perceptions, and is this doing it though? I wonder, is this actively changing perceptions for what we need to see, and is it going to help Xbox in the long run? I think that's another kind of big question to ask, and again, I do think that it's like a very pertinent question, because us as gamers, we're kind of looking up to this, and we're going, okay, well, Microsoft is really doing this stuff with Game Pass, and even I said this year has been like the best year for Game Pass that I can ever remember. I think one of the things is, when you look at this, there's 6 games, 3 of them are multi-platform titles, and 3 of them aren't. But the main thing also that I would point out is, even though they're releasing games that are getting more sale or getting more or higher recognition, the sales just haven't seemed to been there, right? So Hellblade 2 didn't sell well. Indiana Jones apparently didn't sell well. Avowed didn't sell well. South of Midnight only garnered 1 million players combined on PC and Xbox, so that's not a lot. You can imagine maybe sales for that game being 100,000, maybe less. I don't know. The Oblivion remaster or whatever, no word on. I guess that sold pretty decently. Probably a lot have to do with the PC community who is really into those type of games. And then Doom Dark Ages, we don't know if that sold a lot or not, but we know that when it comes to like the Steam access and stuff like that, there's not a whole lot of people playing that game. Some people are saying it's because there's a ray tracing situation where you're forced to have ray tracing. So, which is funny, right? It's like people aren't boycotting this, but if the low numbers, and I just saw this today, so I thought it was funny, because all those PC guys talk up their PCs and how they're powerful and how they're this, that, and the other thing. Pretty much every card after 2018 supported ray tracing, so that means a lot of the people that are talking about how great their PCs are running with stuff pre-2018, and that stays much in line with what Steam, the surveys show, where most of the gamers on Steam are playing at 1080p. That's just a fact. When you have almost 60% of the people playing at 1080p, it's like they can't do ray tracing. They don't have a powerful enough computer. So, again, I thought that was kind of funny. And I'm not sure how the game's going to sell. Obviously, it's not going to sell well on Xbox due to Game Pass. But what about on PlayStation? I have to point to the next or the last Doom game. It didn't really do well. It was underperformed, and people kind of forget that. Like, Doom is a big name game, but it's not a game like Call of Duty. And then you look at these games like Doom, that's a 10 to 12, 13 hour experience, single player game, and a lot of people are going to be hesitant to drop 13 or 80, 70 bucks on it. So yeah, it's kind of interesting to see the reactions from it, where people are like a little bit confused as to why Doom isn't doing very well. Like I said, I think it's probably a good game. I haven't played it yet. I think I've downloaded it, and I'm going to give it a whirl for sure. But I still think that we're in this weird world right now where Microsoft really thought they had a lot of games that would be on par with Call of Duty, so to speak, right? And they don't really have that. There's only one Call of Duty. Yeah, they got some stuff in the Bethesda category that'll probably sell, like the next Fallout and the next Elder Scrolls. Like, these games for sure will probably sell very well. The next Forza, and probably out of curiosity the next Gears and Halo. But outside of the norm, they've just been releasing a lot of stuff that hasn't been received particularly well. And again, whose fault is that? Is that going to be a problem going forward? I just really do feel like this is kind of a bad situation for all those involved, and I just have to say that it's just kind of crazy to see sort of the reaction from this. Like, I do think that Microsoft has changed some minds though with how the games are perceived. A lot of people think Game Pass games are just rushed out slop or whatever. So I would say that this is out there proving that you have something that can go out there and attract gamers. So hopefully that's what we'll get. But it is kind of crazy to think that despite the fact that they've had a pretty decent run of games, and really since Redfall they've had a pretty good run on games. If you think about it, I think Forza Motorsport is an 83, Starfield is an 83. They don't really put out much. And you can't go back too far, but it does seem like most of their stuff is in that 80 category, which is good, but is it, great? I think that's going to be kind of the question that people really kind of look at. Particularly Bethesda Studios are taking up half the infographic that's shown, and I'm going to link this so you can check it out. The aggregate scores are fairly consistent across the board. There are no 90 plus rated games in here, but certainly a collection of great releases that show an improved Xbox first party output overall. With that being said, there's room for improvement, and there's, hopefully Microsoft can deliver. There's got to be something there. It's like this, and we hope to see another graphic like this in the years to come that display multiple 90 plus rated games, because I personally think that there's just a difference, there's just a feel about some of these games. The fact that Microsoft can't seem to have that intangible feeling that makes these games special kind of blows my mind. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.